Hi, welcome to Awake TV. So today soon I'm gonna talk about the new beginning. We're putting the because after 9-9 portal, I felt significant vibrational change, like significant, almost like a night and day, like huge amount of density is dropped, released, like whole. It's hard to say. It's not about just me or our personal life. It's just a whole planet, like vibration went up, like so light. Everything is so light. And then I personally feel like joy with no reason at all. How about you, Sue?
Yeah, let's see, I think it was 9:10. I had well, let me back it up. The day that you're talking about, I felt that too, and you and I talked about that. And then right the next day, I had a really difficult day, emotionally. And it didn't last all day, but I think we kind of get into those patterns of backsliding or maybe resistance, as the Arcturians would talk about. We have to look at uh, the information from the Arcturians was, like accept everything as it is and acknowledge that it's your creation. Because the resistance is our ego that wants to go, oh, no, none of this wasn't my fault, or I didn't choose this, when in fact we did. And in order to move forward, I think, excuse me, to the new reality and the energy and adapt to the energy of it is just to recognize when we do have resistance. Um, I don't think it's abnormal to go back, to want to go back into old ways of doing and being, because that's so familiar. But if we can recognize when we're doing it, in a sense, sort of catch ourselves feeling some resistance, and like I did that day. And it was right the next day after that really bright, shiny day, like you said, where it became light and everything, and feeling joy just for no reason. I couldn't help but notice the contrast for myself. And I had to ask myself, what's going on here? And so, there's such a thing as mourning things that we felt or really believed deep in our hearts that were so important. And then for myself, I could just say that I was able to look at the situation, what I was feeling sad about, um, and say to myself, it was all an illusion anyway. It was all a something I told myself about how my life should be. And when it didn't turn out that way, I had all this sadness because that was the perspective I was looking at it with,
Yeah.
that it should be this way. Um,
Mm.
So, that was my resistance to the change, was is staying in that pattern of belief that, well, family looks like this and career looks like this and friends do this, and you know what I'm saying, so on and so forth. We have these like expectations that we've built up most of our lives about the way life should be, and if we can drop the should um, and accept things as they are, then the transformation, when shifts happen, like the 9-9 portal, and the way society's beginning to awaken and accept understand things and all. If we can in some ways just say, um just because it's been this way all this time doesn't mean the change is going to be a problem or a bad thing. It's okay for it to be not like it was before.
Yeah, and
Because
also, like, if we think like, oh, this never gonna happen, that's also limiting our belief, right? Anything can be possible, including
absolutely.
something we don't think it's never gonna happen. Really, never. Maybe it does, right? So one of the lesson I was told a long time ago, maybe like 11 years ago, I'm not sure the person who was supposedly connected with my higher self was really higher self, but whatever. The whole point is the dropping the expectation. I was told in kind of mean way, it wasn't too loving. And then I was so pissed off about that. But by looking at the suggestion now, which wasn't put so lovingly, but if someone put it lovingly, let's say, the way you put it, like if we drop the expectation of how things should be, or our expectation of how our life should turn out to be, or whatever that is, right? Or we are guessing like a future gonna be like this and that. But if we stay focused on present stuff, whatever it is, what is happening right now, and then try to count the blessings and also accept the full responsibility we created this somehow, or at least co-created it with
Yeah, it's all
others.
by agreement. I mean, that's the thing I think people struggle with the most with accepting the creationship of their own reality is that, especially when you're talking about something that's very painful, something that somebody has experienced in their life, a
Yeah,
death, an abuse, we can go on and on. But it's really hard trying to explain that yes, even that you chose that too. You signed up for it. You agreed to it before you even came here, or it wouldn't have happened. It wouldn't have shown up. And I think we can all come up with something that's gone on in our lives that we don't want to take
yeah,
responsibility for. What do you mean I agreed to that? That's some bullshit, but it's true. And um because after all, and I guess this is the thing that helps me propel forward, is every time I catch myself in resistance to what is, or my part in the creationship of it, or my agreement to it, is I remind myself this is all just an illusion. It's a very real feeling illusion, because uh, we're fully committed and ingrained into this humanity that we've chosen. And so it is very real. I'm not saying it isn't real, but what I'm saying is the illusion is that all we are is humans. You know,
yeah,
that's the illusory part. It isn't that what we're experiencing isn't real, but what it is it's only such a small fraction of what we are as beings, and so many other realities that we exist in. We're not consciously in those realities now, otherwise we feel crazy. Um, so the curtain comes down, and the veil of forgetting, and that allows us to move forward in this, what we began in a 3D reality as human beings. But now that the veil is thinning and we keep going through these portals and the energies keep rising, we get to the point where we understand that this is just such a tiny fraction of all that is and all that we are. So that helps me to pull myself back and go, Sue, this is just one part of the expanse of this, and it never ends. It goes on forever. So who cares if I screw it up, or who cares if that thing I just went through really sucked, and
yeah,
because it's not going to be like that forever. And the way to shift to the new is by, like you said earlier, first of all, open up to all possibility. Even if what you're wanting to see in your life seems ridiculous to everybody around you, it doesn't matter. If that's what you want to see in your reality, then that's where you put your focus, and you open up to the fact that it could be. um and then also, I always say hunt the good stuff. I mean, that comes from one of my drill instructors back in my army days, but I think I agree with him 100%. So if we can find the positive, you said gratitude, I agree with that. We can see the good stuff that's all around us on a regular. Um, and it could just be something so simple, like appreciating the sun, or, the sun's up every day, or I breathe the air, if you want to get super basic about it. then, my list of things I'm grateful for is so big, I don't want to bore you all with it, but believe me, it's long. And as I would rattle them off, I'd think of more things to be grateful for. That's how we build consciously
Yeah,
into a belief system and a reality that is what we want to see rather than feeling like victims of something that we
yeah,
that we're recovering from. It's a complete energetic shift.
yeah. It's important to feel like a creator instead of a victim of the circumstances. Like, um, I'm going to have a new physical beginning. And then last 1 month and a little bit, I did go through a lot of challenging experience. And then I could, you know, I could hate the situation. I could yell at, you know, this what happened to me or people who cause hardship or whatever. But whole point is instead of doing that, I know I did share with you guys on my short um, YouTube stuff that how you end things does matter, because if you end things with grudge or hate or anger or whatever, like not thank you. So I deliberately started to look for what am I be thankful for, what happened to me. And then I found a couple of things.
You did.
Yeah, I did.
You even surprised me because I was at the point where I was
You
like,
know the circumstances, right? I did find it. And then
I'm
because
so proud of you. I would
oh,
have
thank you.
kicked them to the curb for sure,
Whole
but I'm
whole
so
point,
proud of you.
yeah, whole point of thing is I want to end good, whatever it is. I want to end good, so it doesn't come back to you. Like it's like karma, right? If you don't end good, it's gonna come back to you. Not with same people, but maybe different kind of circumstances, you know. So if you want to close things of whatever happened to you, my best way to tell you guys is find something you can be grateful about. So I did thank, you know, the lesson. I did learn something out of it. And then I was like, okay, I could see the point of view too, even though I don't agree with it. I could see the point of view, you know, and then I learned the lesson so I can move on with no emotional attachment. Means like when you have a bad feeling toward, you know, someone or some incident or some situation, when these bad feelings are attachment, right? When you find gratitude and you can move on, you let go, move on, because you feel thank you, okay, I'm ready to go to better place or whatever, right? Better situation, whatever. Then you are ending,
Mhm.
100% clear ending. So those karmic, energetic circle repetition things will not happen, because your spiritual team, your higher self, everybody is recognizing, okay, she learned this lesson.
Yeah, I
So
mean, that's really big what you said about the learning the lesson because, a lot of things pardon me, happen to us and we sit there and go, why did that happen? And that's where we got to engage our consciousness a little bit and say, okay, that really sucked, but what was it all about? What was I to learn from it? And I would suggest that, doing that with any circumstance
yeah,
is a
any
good idea.
circumstances,
Is a good
even if
idea.
even if you are 100% right about it, find something you can learn from whatever that happened to you, then you graduate.
Yeah, because this stuff, the good and the bad and the ugly and the in between, all of it happens usually for a reason. We're garnering something. So, if it's a beautiful positive experience, great. We can easily find things that we gained from it. The challenge is for the not so fun things that we go through, to be able to, I mean, obviously, you may need a little bit of time to allow your emotions to run their course before you sit down to do an analysis. It's
You
hard.
can get angry in the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to engage the brain when we're angry or we're sad or we're, distraught in some way. And I just wanted to add about what you said, ending things well. Um, I always have that intention to end things well, and sometimes they just don't. Um, and so the thing I found for myself is that, and as I said earlier, you're way more diplomatic than I am, so I can't see you ending anything badly. But I,
Thank you.
I'm just saying, got to give you props where they're deserved. But if something doesn't end well, especially I'm talking about relationships now, and or a job, you had to leave a job because somebody pulled some crap with you. And at the time you felt that you had to stand up for yourself and you didn't end it the way you would normally end it because you had to set a boundary and you were pissed or something, whatever. Um, what I would say to that is you can still end things energetically in your mind, in your consciousness, in meditation, in your spare time when you take a few minutes and you can still send that person love or that company love and then as your emotions calm down you could. I know you don't want to send somebody love that's just dumped on your head. I get that. But if you say thank you for the lesson, even if you don't know what the lesson was yet, that's energetically releasing you from the situation. Then you can think about later what was it all about, once your emotions calm down. But I just wanted to throw that in there because a lot of us, I don't think I'm the only one. A lot of us have had to end things rather curtly um, with certain people. um, because that's just how it played out. And so I don't want people to feel guilty for that because sometimes that's just how it has to go down. Sometimes we need to get hit over the head with something before we get the message because we don't give up easily. That's me in a nutshell. I mean, I keep trying until somebody freaking hits me over the head, and then it's like, oh, okay, and then I'm mad, and I don't always end things the right way, but you can energetically mend that energy once the whole thing is done and you've had time. And there have been some pretty sticky stuff that I've been grateful for. Some real, kicked my ass for years kind of stuff that I'm talking about, not little things that I have come around to understanding and why it happened, what was I supposed to get out of it. And, even as time goes on, I still learn more things about that kind of dynamic, why it went, why it happened. And I'm able to have gratitude. It really does kind of amaze me.
Yeah, and then once you learn, then once you kind of get some kind of idea what is this all about, right? And then you are done with that lesson. It means you never have to go through it ever again. So
Yeah.
only thing you go is up, more up and up and up. So I felt like post 9/11 was epiphany of that. Like we only gonna start experiencing more positive stuff, right? Some of you guys might be going through a difficult time right now, but I promise you, because the vibration of whole earth is completely different. I've been telling you guys earth is 5D, but there's a level of different 5D, like a lower 5D, mid 5D, upper 5D. So before 9/9 was heavier, you know, and
Yeah.
then after that it's like much lighter, like whole. It's not just in New York, it's like everywhere, I think.
Yeah, and I think the last thing I want to say, we've got about 6 minutes, is when people say take the high road, what does that mean? Okay, so I figure out what that means for myself. The other day I got pulled over for a traffic infraction, and I was so pissed because I've seen so many people do the same thing I did, and then I had to say to myself, now wait a minute, you broke the law, you got pulled, you got caught, you're gonna pay the piper now, you know? You're not gonna be mad at this officer because he caught me, because he pulled me over. So I was polite to him, and he said, "Have a nice day," and I thought, "Fuck you, you asshole." Take your ticket and shove it. But I just said, "Thank you. I hope you have a nice day too." You know? So I know it's a ridiculous example, but I mean, I've seen people do the same thing a million times, and I'm the one who gets pulled over. I have no points on my license. I don't speed. I'm not a jerk when in the car. But that particular day, of course, the one day I step 1 second out of line, I get caught. And you know, but what is it for me? It was like a lesson to say, why were you in such a hurry anyway? You didn't need to get there faster, and you ended up getting there slower because you got pulled over and it took all that time to do this stuff. So anyway, the high road is, I think for me, reacting the way I would hope someone else would react to me if I was the one on the other end of the stick, you know? And I haven't been a hugely patient person all my life, but I'm working on that. So for me, the high road is just trying to always see the other side and behave accordingly. I sound like this super reactive person. I'm really not, but there are some things that just tick me off.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to chill out a little bit. What do you have as a final suggestion?
My high road is to find it something you're grateful about. So even you can find a tiny bit of it, or I experienced this, screw up situation. So next time I'm not going to be fooled by it again. Yeah, that's something you learn from that person, right?
Yeah.
So you can be thankful about that because you experienced that, so you got smarter. You're not gonna, fall for the same trick again.
Yeah,
So
taught you not what not to do, right?
yeah. So some people teach you what not to do, right? So you can still be thankful about whatever they're teaching you not to do.
Right.
Yeah. So in order for us to embrace new beginning, we have to embrace as is now. And some of the stuff might not be what you're liking, what I'm liking, what Sue's liking. But by doing that, what we just talked about, that's gonna create a place to let go of everything and easier for us to shift to new beginning.
Yeah,
So I thought it's a good idea to share this stuff about because energy is really shifting right now. So
it is. And how do we create all new if we stay in that old energy?
let go.
Yep.
When stuff comes up, let go of our emotions. Means feel it, experience it, and then find something grateful about it and let go.
Yeah.
Yep. So next time, Sue and I are gonna talk about more interesting stuff. So thank you so much for watching. Please share, like, subscribe, and then we see you next time. Bye.
Bye.